But anyway, Guild Wars, not
Guild Wars.
internet.
Guild Wars.
What was about the
about the launch. I was kind of impressed in general, actually, with Guild Wars'
Guild Wars.
Guild War 2's.
Guild Wars did.
With Guild Wars 2's, then I can avoid the double
That's
S.
not even much better.
No,
Twos.
General net performance.
Well, I think the problem with it is, or my problem with it is there's no ping counter. I need to see a number or a little flashing light that goes red when I'm lagging.
Yeah, it would be nice to have that, because they had that in Guild Wars 1, didn't they? The little indicator in the corner.
And that also tells you when it was streaming shit.
But I don't think it's streamloaded.
No, I don't think it does anymore.
No. It was
apparently
some clever stuff at the time, but I'm not sure it's needed now.
Apparently when it's doing the red bar on the login screen, you can actually start launching it before, because apparently that's what the autoplay button toggle actually does.
Oh, right.
It's like when it knows it can launch without making you wait for the rest of this, then it will go.
Just starts the game once you're logged in.
Yeah. Apparently.
I mean, I kind of like that system, that client system as well. That's kind of a neat way of doing it. So you could, in theory, just fire up the client, not log in, and have your game update while you're doing other things.
I wouldn't say that's uncommon nowadays.
No, but it's pretty. Well, I don't know.
It's like even Eve updated to have it like that now.
Yeah, maybe you're right. I just remember there was a period, wasn't there, where you have to start the game in order for your game to patch. Games for Windows Live still works like that.
Yeah. But that's because Games for Windows Live is an ancient system.
Yeah. But I don't know, I've been fairly impressed with its netcode, because you could be in like a massive fight and it doesn't appear to lag.
Well, that's the trouble. It doesn't appear. It's hard to tell.
But that's better than
it means
I
haven't yet cared. There's been a couple of times where I've outright lagged out.
Yeah.
But
you can tell when that happens.
Yeah. But, when a severe cut has happened.
Everything becomes invulnerable suddenly.
Yeah. But for general play, when it's working fine, I've not noticed a single problem, and that.
Well, you haven't really. I don't think you've been in the biggest fights yet. You haven't really been in. We haven't gone into World versus World.
The biggest was the Fire Elemental, and
that was only like 50 people or something.
That's pretty big.
Well, the thing was big. I wouldn't say the player count was that big.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm sure we'll get to bigger, because that was a starting area thing. So presumably,
a starting area thing that's fucking impossible.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the boss of that area, isn't it? That's the big deal of
it's like the Asura's first boss. As I said in the live stream version, I'm pretty sure there is one of those large things in each of the starting areas. Because I know of the Sylvari one and the human one.
Yeah.
And that Asura one. But the Asura one, fucking impossible.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to fix that after the beta where it murders everyone every time.
Or immediately.
Yeah.
It's just like everything is a one-hit kill that thing fires upon you. I'm just wandering around, and all of a sudden it's like... Basically, it's those little mounds of fire.
Well, those don't even come from the main thing. Those come from the offshoot thing, the embers.
Yeah, the red ring appears around you, and you're like, fuck! And you don't have enough time to move by the time that thing just murders you. And you're like, well, I'm down in a fireball. No one's going to res me here.
And if they try to res you, they're standing still for too long, then they get flamed.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
It's insane.
So yeah, that's still ridiculous.
But the spectacle of it is awesome, though. There's something that game gets amazingly right, is that when you're in those big fights, I mean, just walking towards the room in which that fight is happening looks cool.
Yeah.
It's like this enormous fucking fire thing, like, just spouting shit everywhere. There's a million firebird ember things flying around, shooting stuff, and then there's a line of guys dying.
Yeah, a line of guys standing on the edge of the bridge, just out of range, waiting to die. Like, everybody wait, and then you run in, and then everybody dies.
But yeah, the spectacle of that is awesome. Phenomenal, and to the point where my system doesn't handle it that well.
Yeah. It's quite
anymore. Well, I've said this before. My graphics is now aging in it, and this one will knock it down to the 10s.
Yeah, surprisingly, it runs. I think they did actually do something, because on the first couple, I don't think it was beta. I think it was on the first few days. There was certainly one area that I knew of, and one that other people were complaining about in the IRC was. There was two areas where the frame rate was a lot worse for some people, And
right.
there was
sort of certain bug spots, you mean?
Well, it was like that. The area of the jungle that we've just done, that wildlands bit. That when on the first few days when I went in there, I was getting like less than 10 frames per second in there for some reason.
Yeah, right.
But they seem to have fixed that somehow. It seems to run just fine now. Actually, that might even be one of the better running areas. I've seen it get up to like 60 in there sometimes.
Yeah, that works quite well for me as well, that area. But it's not quite so populated as some of Asura.
Well, no, that's true.
But I guess the starting area is always going to be a bit of a struggle.
And any area where there's one of those dungeons, there'll always be extra people as well.
I did play with the graphic settings a bit, but it looks like ass if you turn them down.
Yeah, it really
you do
does.
get quite a lot of performance back if you turn it down, but then it really does look bad. It's like you have to run it at relatively high specs to get there.
Definitely can't do anything with the textures.
No.
Those are the critical ones.
Some
Texture
of the-
quality and the sampling rates.
Oh yeah,
Can't fuck with
don't
those.
change the sampling rate. Because it gives you the option. The sampling thing is dumb because it gives you the option to, no matter what resolution you've picked, why don't we halve that for you? You can pick
that's
like
dumb.
subsample, and so the UI is still at your native res, but all the 3D world is rendered at half res.
Okay.
It's all right, but it's a good
Probably a good
compromise
idea
if
if
you're
you're on a
used to
laptop.
it's a compromise if you're used to shit graphics.
Yeah.
I suppose if you come from WoW, maybe.
Or if you never had the graphics turned up so you don't know what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, some of the settings make such a massive difference. Post-processing, I think, is another one you have to have on, because that makes such an enormous difference to how some elements of the world look. It's like the Asura, right? Because that is like metal. The hometown of Rathasum has that metal floor with that tessellating pattern.
Yeah.
And for ages, I didn't realise my post-processing was set to like low or off or something. And it's like, this is a kind of rubbish-looking place for like a hometown. Turned out the floor comes alive and it's all shiny and lovely, and it's like, why did I have this off? It looks so much better. And doesn't actually cost that much performance on my machine, which is nice.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think you can play the game, I think, on a wide variety of systems. Just don't play it on a good system, because it looks lovely on a good system.
Nice looking game.
It's a pretty, not technically good
Yeah,
looking,
but that doesn't matter
but
in all
it's-
these sometimes.
Style, it's not technically that great. I mean, it's no Battlefield.
You got
in
nice
terms
draw
of what it's
distance.
achieving,
It does have
but
nice
it's-
wobbly grass.
Yeah, the grass is nice. There's quite a lot of foliage.
You don't
which
really
is
notice
pretty-
it unless you like specifically look at it that they do wobble when you walk through it.
Yeah, and they wobble in a nice way. They don't
Dynamically.
just-
Well,
Somewhat.
it's just like a bendy
Yeah,
polygon.
well, it bends a bit more. I don't know. It sort of does
It's sometimes a bit more noticeable that it is just a weird, like, bendy thing where I saw a bit where there was just like a singular sunflower growing out of the ground in this like blackened area, and I ran through it, and the sunflower was like, wow, kind of walked really weirdly, and I was like, oh, it's running on that same bit of programming apparently.
yeah, maybe.
And it just wobbles generally as well, does it? Like,
Well, yeah, it has that
They
slight
sway.
because that's my favourite thing in time-lapse videos of like any game is like super high speed wobble. Any grass is just going like so. Which, I mean, in real time-lapse videos you get wobbling grass, right? But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't look retarded for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is.
I think it wobbles. I think the range of wobble, what the amplitude of the wobble
Of the
is
wobble.
greater in
And
video.
also
Yeah,
because
games.
in the game it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
Exact
quite,
same
it's
wobble.
quite regular. Yeah.
So it looks especially retarded. Yeah. But still, it's fine. It's all good.
So anyway.
But yeah, it's a good looking game. In general, although Asura Town, maybe the Asura Town isn't such a great guide for that because it's like floating cubes.
Well, it's not like the other...
Now we're investigating Silvari territory. Maybe we'll get some of the really pretty stuff.
Well, yeah, that is probably the prettiest bit of the jungle with all the flowers and shit. But they live in giant plant pod things, and those aren't that interesting either.
No.
I guess the actual Savari hometown is quite kind of cool, being under a giant tree or whatever. With all floaty particles in the air and shit.
Yeah, it does look quite cool, some of the art.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's got-
any
yeah.
of the towns are that interesting.
Well, just in general, it's not just the general thing. Like, some people have been sort of saying that it doesn't really have a very standout art style, but I kind of think it does. It's not massively. I've mentioned before about the hand painted stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's a fantastic bit of thing, and I kind of wish a bit more of that was in the world somehow. I'm not sure how exactly, but I kind of wish that they'd sort of carried some more of that style into the actual game world. But there's a sort of cartoony nature, isn't there, to how the players in the world look and how the elements, but then the world itself is really lush and nice.
Yeah.
It's like these sort of characters are like, well, the Acerus especially, because the Acerus story kind of plays out like a cartoon anyway.
Well, they had to have they had to have the comedy, like, inventor, crazy scientist style storyline.
Well, it's also casual, isn't it? It's just like loads of people have been killed. Oh well.
Well, that's always going to be how it is in a game like this.
Well, yeah, I suppose, but it's just so casual, isn't it? It's like just blatant murder.
It's like if you're the humans, you get bandits, and if you're the Silvari, you get the Nightmare Corps. It's just bad guys, murder them all.
Yeah, it just seems so much more jovial. In the Acerus case,
yeah,
it's like there's a sort of a weird disconnect between. It's like these are like cartoon gremlins, like with a story and voices that sound like a kids' cartoon show, a well-made kids' cartoon show. But it's but then like you're killing guys and somehow say killing is a bad thing, but yet you're murdering tons of dude all the time.
I don't think they really say killing is that bad. If you think about the Silvari, that's where the problem comes in, because they're like, all things have a right to grow, let me cut down this tree for wood.
That's true. That's kind of weird. And that conversation of those two people we were hearing about the other day is like, vines choke, I kill.
Yeah, it's
your
like,
path is very different from mine.
It's like, how did that happen? Your whole civilization is based upon these stupid sayings on this ancient tablet.
Yeah. I know the game is enormous as well. I was expecting perhaps a little bit more actual voice work from some of the things, because there's still text to read.
Well, from all like the mission givers or whatever.
Yeah, and stuff like that. There's some. I have some slight structural problems with it. I mean, for the most part, the structure is more for me, as in that game is how I want to play an MMO.
Right.
It does everything I want that I've hated. That everything that I hate about other MMOs isn't here. It's like the mission structure is a little bit kill 10 rats.
Yeah. Or kill something or pick up something.
And the missions
kind of a staple, though.
and the missions themselves don't actually vary that much.
Like I said,
the hard things are like go here, and then you get one of 3 things you can do, and all of them add towards a thing. And most of the time, what I find myself doing is just doing all the killing.
Yeah.
But weirdly, I don't mind so much in this game.
Combat's kind of
It
fun.
does kind of seem weird, especially when I've been thinking about it when I'm already where I'm like late on in the game and I'm like level 70 or whatever, and I've just been using these same goddamn 5 skills the entire game, and yet somehow that's still kind of fun.
Yeah, well, you do learn a few nuances, like how to use them in like nice order. Like I'm starting to get to grips with the rifle idea of get up close, blap them with the shotgun, then push them away with a thing, and then rocket jump back into their face. And by that point, sometimes my shotgun is recharged if I'm lucky quickly enough, so I can do it again. And
That's not that complicated.
No, but it's just cool that you can. That there's a sort of rhythm to it.
Yeah, I guess.